A lone hartebeest lay collapsed, one leg twisted unnaturally beneath it. Dust clung to its coat, and flies swarmed the exposed wound, their incessant buzzing blending with the animal's faint groans. Its eyes, wide and panicked, darted toward the sparse trees, toward any shadow, as if begging for someone, anyone, to act. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Echoes of the Voiceless and join us in giving a voice to those who cannot speak. Every story you watch here is a testament to courage, compassion, and the lives we can change when we choose to care. From the ridge above, tourists and villagers had gathered. Phones lifted, cameras clicked, but no one moved closer. "It'll get up," muttered a man, adjusting his hat nervously. "They're hardy animals. Nature takes care of them." "Maybe leave it alone," whispered another, tugging at her child's sleeve. "It might attack if it's hurt." The child's wide eyes searched the ground. Why isn't anyone helping him? But the adults only shuffled uncomfortably, some looking away, some shrugging, unwilling to confront the suffering before them. Time dragged. The sun climbed higher. The hartebeest's groans grew weaker. Its shallow breaths stirred the dust, small clouds drifting into the air like tiny ghosts of life. Every movement sent a tremor through its emaciated body, and still, no one approached. Then, the low rumble of tires sounded from the distant dirt road. Jeeps, overloaded with tourists, bounced over the uneven terrain. Cameras clicked and lenses zoomed in, but the vehicle stopped just far enough to avoid responsibility. The crowd whispered among themselves, amused, intrigued, but unmoved. They were spectators, not rescuers. From the horizon, a figure emerged slowly. Boots sank slightly into the dry earth with each deliberate step. Her dark hair, pulled into a tight braid, swung gently against her back. She carried no fanfare, no equipment beyond a worn satchel and a small radio clipped to her belt. Her name was Mara Cole. In the wildlife rescue world, she was known quietly, reverently, by a call sign few had heard outside her circles: Sandhawk. Her sharp eyes scanned the scene, the collapsed hartebeest, the gathering crowd, the faint smell of blood mixing with parched earth. Mara crouched behind a low acacia bush, analyzing the terrain and the animal's subtle movements. Every shallow breath was a plea, every twitch of the ear a question of trust. Her hand rested lightly on the radio. "Dispatch. Possible collapsed hartebeest at coordinates 32.0412, 25.3629. Leg injury suspected. Need vet support and stabilization kit en route." Static replied. A distant acknowledgement. Help was on the way, but precious time had already slipped by. Mara knew it. Every second counted. A man nearby laughed nervously, pointing. "Look at that. It's probably just resting. They survive in worse conditions." Mara's jaw tightened. She stepped forward slightly, voice calm but firm. "Easy. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The hartebeest lifted its head slightly, ears twitching nervously. Mara froze, letting the animal take in her presence. Patience, she reminded herself. Always patience. A rock clattered near the animal, tossed carelessly by a teenage boy testing courage, not thinking of consequences. The hartebeest flinched violently, letting out a low, fearful groan. Mara's eyes locked on him. "Step back. Do not startle it. Give it space," she commanded. Her authority was soft yet unshakable, her voice carrying over the whispers of the crowd. Slowly, the bystanders obeyed, some with reluctant nods, others wide-eyed, unsure why someone was finally confronting the scene. Hours passed. Heat shimmered off the dry earth, and the animal's shallow breaths became slower, more labored. Mara's gaze never left the hartebeest. She assessed the wound, deep abrasion along its foreleg, dried blood crusted into the surrounding hair. Flies swarmed, and the air carried the faint metallic tang of iron. Mara reached into her satchel, pulling out a small cloth dampened with clean water. She stepped closer, keeping her body low, hands visible. "Easy, easy," she murmured. The Hartebeest's eyes flicked to her, fear mixed with faint recognition, some instinctual understanding that this was not a threat. A woman whispered behind her, "She's crazy. That animal could kick her." Mara didn't flinch. "Courage is not the absence of fear," she said softly, mostly to herself. "It's the willingness to act when fear is present." The sound of approaching tires grew louder. Mara's radio chirped again. Veterinary support was near, but she knew the first moments, the delicate steps before anyone else could intervene, were hers alone to control. She knelt beside the Hartebeest, speaking softly, rhythmically, coaxing it toward trust. "You're safe. I'm here. Just breathe." Her hands hovered near the wound, never touching until she was certain it wouldn't provoke panic. The crowd had grown silent. Their curiosity transformed into tension. Some held their phones, frozen between filming and helping. A teenage girl whispered, "Why is no one stopping her?" "Because she's not waiting for anyone," her mother replied, voice tight with unease. Mara took a deep breath, steadying herself. She knew what came next would require coordination, but the moment to earn the Hartebeest's confidence was now. "Step by step," she whispered, reaching slowly toward the animal's side. The Hartebeest flinched, then froze, then let her presence anchor it. Mara's eyes scanned the horizon. Every instinct, every lesson learned over countless rescues, guided her hands, her voice, her timing. The first phase of rescue had begun. The Hartebeest was alive, its life still fragile. And Mara, Sandhawk, stood alone, between hope and disaster. The wind stirred through the grass, carrying dust, tension, and the unspoken question hovering over the crowd. Would she succeed where everyone else had failed? The scene held, suspended in quiet suspense, the outcome still uncertain. The sound of approaching engines signaled hope. A veterinary truck and a rescue jeep appeared at the edge of the dusty plain. Mara didn't move until they stopped. She stayed low beside the Hartebeest, her hands gently brushing away dust from its coat. "Sandhawk," the vet called, recognition flashing in her eyes. "We're ready. Hydration, stabilization, then transport. But any sudden move could collapse him." Mara nodded. "He trusts me. Let's do this carefully." The crowd watched, silence heavy, cameras lowered. The skepticism and mockery of hours ago had faded into awe. Every whisper, every glance reflected respect for the woman who refused to stand by. The vet signaled, and Mara guided the team in placing a soft, supportive harness beneath the Hartebeest. Each movement deliberate, measured. One wrong pull could undo everything. The animal shivered, trembling with weakness and fear. But Mara's calm presence anchored it. "Step slowly. Breathe. You're safe," she murmured, voice low, rhythmic, almost hypnotic. Inch by inch, the Hartebeest was lifted to its feet, knees wobbling, muscles trembling, eyes wide but trusting. A collective intake of breath passed through the crowd as the animal finally stood, fragile yet alive. Tears streaked down faces, young and old alike, as realization sank in. A life had been saved because someone chose to act. The vet and Mara carefully guided the Hartebeest into the recovery vehicle. Every motion was precise, every precaution taken. Once inside, the creature sank onto soft bedding, exhausted but alive. Mara leaned close, whispering soft reassurances, stroking its neck gently. The ambulance doors closed, leaving behind a stunned but transformed crowd. Murmurs of apology, awe, and admiration floated through the air. A mother whispered to her child, "See, real courage is quiet, steadfast, and it saves lives." Mara stood tall, sweat-streaked and dusty, yet unwavering. Her call sign, Sandhawk, lingered in the minds of witnesses, a symbol of skill, patience, and compassion. "Every life matters," she said softly, voice carrying over the fading heat of the savannah, even when the world looks away. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting long shadows across the plains. In that moment, the crowd understood the truth Mara lived by. Courage is not in words, but in action. Compassion is not passive. It is the willingness to risk, to step forward when others hesitate. And one brave act can change everything. The wind stirred through the grass, carrying the faint echo of hoofbeats and heartbeats, a testament to resilience, hope, and the quiet heroism of a single woman who refused to let life go unnoticed.